Tonight we're going to be taking notes on multiplication of fractions and division of fractions. And remember guys, I told you multiplication and division are the easiest things you can do with fractions. So get your notes out and let's take a look at these. Okay, so when you're multiplying a fraction and you're dividing a fraction, it's completely different than adding and subtracting. Remember, when you add and subtract a fraction, you have to find a common denominator. Well, guess what, guys? Multiplying and dividing, you don't. That's what makes it so easy. So, okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, when we're multiplying a fraction times a fraction, step one, you multiply the numerator. So 2 times 3 is 6. Step 2, you multiply the denominator. 5 times 4 is 20. Voila, you're done. You just multiply straight across when you're multiplying fractions, but you do still have to simplify. So remember, you can simplify these by 2 and get them in their simplest form, which is 3/10. But wasn't that easy? Oh my gosh. Okay, check this out. Okay, a fraction with a whole number. All right, so step 1, write the whole number as a fraction. Remember when I was telling you how to do that? All you have to do is you have to stick it over 1. So you take 1/4 multiplied by 5. So here's our 1/4, and then look at this. We just put 5 over 1, and then we do the same steps as above. We multiply straight across. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. That's it, guys. 5/4. And then, of course, this is an improper fraction, so we have to make it into a proper fraction or mixed number. So that makes it into 1 1/4. And then here I've broken it down so you can kind of see my coloring. This is supposed to be one of these colored to represent 1/4. And remember what that's called? That is a unit fraction with the 1 in the numerator. Okay, so fraction by a mixed number, okay? Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to put them in their improper form, okay? So we multiply 2 times 1, add the 1, and turn him into 3 halves. Then this one we multiply 2 times 5, which is 10, and then add the 1, which is 11. So here's 11/5. So we've created improper fractions from our mixed number, and we did that yesterday, remember? So now we just simply multiply straight across. Numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. So 3 times 11 is 33. 2 times 5 is 10. And then we put it back in its mixed form because we're improper. We're still improper right here because we're top heavy. So then we put it back in its mixed form, which is 3 3/10. But multiplying fractions is super easy. You just multiply numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator, and then you simplify. Okay? So I told you this was going to be easy. Now let's look at division. Okay, dividing fractions. Okay, so in dividing fractions, it's basically the same principle as multiplying, but we do something called finding the reciprocal, which is mainly we just flip it. Okay, we're just going to flip it. So here we have 3/4 divided into 1/4. Okay, I rewrite my 3/4. I change my division sign into a multiplication sign, and then I flip 1/4 or find the reciprocal. We call it in math terms reciprocal. You can just say flip it. Okay, and then we just multiply across. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 1 is 4. And then, of course, we simplify. We always have to simplify. Sorry, guys. So 4 will go into 12 3 times even. Okay? So that's really easy, too. The only thing we're adding to division of fractions is that finding the reciprocal or flipping that second number. And it's always just the second number. Don't flip the first one. Flip the second. Okay, so let's look at a whole number. If we're dividing a fraction by a whole number. Okay, so we got to convert that whole number to a fraction first. So we put that 1 under the 3, and then that's 3 over 1 divided by 1/4. Okay, so now we've got the problem set up the way we need it set up. Then, now we're going to actually do the division. So we keep our 3 over 1, so 3 over 1. we change our division sign to a multiplication sign, and then we flip it or find the reciprocal of 1/4. See how we've just flipped it? We find that reciprocal. When we find that reciprocal, that's the reason why we change our division sign to multiplication sign. Because when we flip that fraction, we're doing the opposite operation, okay? So now we multiply straight across. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1, right? And then when we simplify, it simplifies to 12, right? Because anything over 1 is, well, that number, right? Okay, so let's look at fraction divided by a whole number, okay? What if the whole number is the second one? Oops, what do we do then? Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Well, first we got to turn that whole number into a fraction. So we write our 1/4 with the division sign. Then we set our 3 over 1. Okay, now he's in a proper form where we can mess with him. But we leave, remember, you always leave this first number alone. He stays just like he is. Then we change our operation sign from division to multiplication. We do the opposite operation, and then we flip that second number or find the reciprocal. Okay, so now it becomes 1/4 times 1/3. You multiply 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 3 is 12, and you have it. You have it in its simplest form. It's in a unit fraction, which is its simplest form. So how about that, guys? Take these notes carefully in your notebook, and we'll do some more practice on tomorrow. But I told y'all, multiplying and dividing fractions was not as hard as what you think it is.